agree on everything. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad we don't, because it proves that love overcomes that mess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it allows us to say, no. Because I had people to say, oh, no, they condemned us years ago, blah, blah, blah. If they can have some grace, we got to have the same grace.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, I'm praying and I'm just pouring my heart out to God. And they start hollering. Our crowd starts hollering at him. And I said, no. We're not responding with hate. We have said from day one, we're going to respond with love.
I have been looking forward to this. This is one of my very best friends.
Amen.
And this is the Reverend Pastor, almost Doctor, Terri Steed Pierce from Joy Metropolitan Community Church.
Yeah.
And we have such a great relationship. We've been working so long in this community together for common causes. And so thank you for coming in, Reverend Terri.
Of course.
First of all, let's start with this. In your background, your faith traditions or your faith growth, your faith journey.
Yes.
What has been the general approach to getting involved in politics?
I'll be honest with you, Dr. Hunter, when I first, I've been in church all my life, as you know, but like I became a pastor in 2007. And when my first pastorate, I was so cautious about most things because I didn't want to screw it up, honestly. I just didn't, I had these people's lives in my hand and the community and whatever. And so I honestly stayed out of it, so much so, and embarrassingly so, I probably shouldn't even admit this if this is going on in the world, but I didn't even want to do like a voter registration sign up because I just didn't want to cross the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just so that we didn't get, I just didn't want to hurt anybody's, just kind of stay under the radar kind of thing. And even when I got to Orlando in 2012, I was a little more willing to talk just because things had happened or what have you. But it was Pulse for me that changed everything because it was like, if we're not in the public square, who's going to be to speak up on our behalf?
Yeah.
As part of the LGBTQ plus community, I have to say something. And for me, it was this catastrophic, humongous mass shooting. It changed the world. It changed our life. It changed me personally. I know it changed you. It changed us. I mean, we became friends because of a mass tragedy that hit home, like right here in our neighborhood. And so for me, it was like, if I don't speak up now, and if I don't show up now, and if I don't put my voice out into the world, and not just my little safe space where everybody understands me, or for the most part, and that, kind of get what's going on here, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
And rereading the scripture, looking at the Gospels and how Jesus encountered the world, was like, that's what he did. And so how can I sit back and let everybody else do that kind of work? It's my job and my responsibility. And sadly, it took a mass tragedy to get me all the way out of the political closet even, so that I could make a difference, not only for my people, but for all people.
Well, and Reverend Terri, that's where I don't have to tell you, 90% of the church or religious institutions in general are scared to death, dividing their congregations over political issues. And so they just don't do anything at all, which is not a part of our calling, especially for those of us who follow Jesus.
Right.
Let's go down that path just for a little bit. Because as you look at the life of Jesus, he was always getting himself in trouble, and always, facing, there were religious leaders, but in that day, the religious leaders were the political leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what in his life do you see that you would love for your people to keep in mind when they're going to the polls, when they're advocating for policy, or when they're voting for a candidate? Just as you look at his life, what do you see that's worth bringing up to your people to say, remember this?
Well, I think it's that Jesus was out there in the world. In fact, my associate on Sunday preached an incredible sermon, and he said, he was talking about the Beatitudes, and we read the Blessed are the poor, blessed in the spirit, there's the kingdom of heaven, all that stuff. And he said, this is called the Sermon on the Mount, not the sermon in the synagogue, not the sermon in the temple. He was on the mount where the people were. Yeah. And so for me, that's like, again, like I say, rereading it, looking back, Jesus was where the poor were, where the hurt were, where those that needed mercy were, where those who needed grace extended to them. He was not in the synagogue where those people were talking to his own group, right? He was talking to those and going out to the outskirts, to the periphery of society to meet those who needed healing, who needed help, who needed hope. And that's where he was. Yeah. And so for me, that's what we have to do. And for me, the policies are around, who is it helping? Yeah. Is it just helping me and mine and those who look like me or sound like me or have grown up like me or protect, my cause? No, it's for everybody. Yeah. Who's missing? Who's not here at this table? Yeah. What policy, what politician is going to get the most people around the table, get the most people help, get the most people access to whatever it is that we lack.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Let's go to that crisis event that changed both of our lives. Me, because I didn't have a friends in the gay community. I remember coming to you and saying, will you be my friend? I didn't have any gay friends. Right. And I was so ashamed because I didn't. I mean, I always thought, I was in the civil rights movement in the 60s. So I thought, if it's a vulnerable community, I've got not only relationships, I've got stakes and that happened. And I didn't get one phone call. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is horrible. I've been so isolated. What complicity do I have in what happened? Yeah. Because I haven't taught my people to love better and love wider and love bigger. Yeah. And so let's go to that event. In our community, that was a game changer, and made us so much more aware of the subtle exclusion and the subtle, therefore, permission to be aggressive toward vulnerable community, people who are different than we are, especially with our preoccupation, and I say I'm talking about conservative Christians, preoccupation with sexuality and so on. We're just so fascinated and so stuck, on those issues. But just as a leader in that community, you came out, Reverend Terri, and just you were such a great leader. I mean, you took a hold of us, and to politicians as well as preachers, and said, pay attention here. Don't call on me last anymore, or figure out what.
Call on me. They weren't calling me at all. It's not even last. Just ignore me. Invite me to the table is what I kept saying.
Exactly. So, as a leader in that community, what did you see happening around Orlando that was both hopeful and still needs addressing?
Yeah. Well, for me, the hopeful part was Sunday that Pulse happened, just the way the community responded. People lining up down the street, around the corners to donate blood because that's what we needed. Yeah. People that Chick-fil-A, who has been against, they have purposely voted, or stood with people who or sided with people who are against the LGBTQ plus community. They brought food to my church on Sunday. Oh. First of all, they're closed on Sunday. And I appreciate that. God bless them for honoring the Sabbath. God bless them for that. Yeah. But they brought food to my church and we ate it. Wow. I don't usually eat Chick-fil-A on purpose, but God bless them, right? Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, it's going to change. Oh my God, this is great, right? Good things are happening. And then, Monday happens. There's a vigil. I hear about it through a person. Nobody bothered to call, even though we held a vigil that Sunday night of Pulse. The news was every news person in the world was there. I mean, I talked to 2 different people from the Wall Street Journal. I talked to a guy from Japan. I mean, the world was there. So how do y'all not know that we exist and you didn't invite us?
Yeah.
I was frustrated, as you know. Tuesday comes, the governor, God bless him, comes to our church to meet with gay leaders. God bless him for doing it. And I will say it again. God bless you, Rick Scott, for standing up and speaking with us. It was without cameras, without press. Fine, but at least you did it. And you had conversations with all of us. You had a good conversation with me. And I told him, Dr. Hunter, in that meeting, and I know you've already heard this before, but I said, sir, the same hate that caused the young man to walk in that club and open fire and kill 49 of our friends and injure 53 others and traumatize 1 million people is the same kind of hate, religious hate, that your attorney general used to put a stay on marriage equality for the first 6 months or so. We couldn't get married till 6 months after here in Florida. And I said, it's the same kind of religious hate that causes and excuses the kind of behavior you can punish us because you see that we're wrong. And I was just angry. So by the time Wednesday comes and we have that press conference, I'm just angry at this point.
Sure, of course.
It happened to our community. It happened to also people of color, mostly mass majority of people of color who are also marginalized in this community still after all this time. And you fought along with many others for their seats at the table, and yet we still marginalize. And here we are again. And that I was even asked to speak. God bless them, whoever it was, the mayor, whoever, God bless her, Mayor Teresa Jacobs of the county at the time. God bless her for inviting me. I did not know at the time because of all the stress that I was even supposed to speak. I did not get the memo somehow. And some of you all stood up there and spoke from your prepared speeches. And I had to just speak from my heart. And I just said, everybody's talking to the press. I'm talking to y'all. Invite us to the table.
Yeah.
They were the people that died at Pulse were in their sanctuary, mainly because the sanctuaries of those of us behind me, you weren't welcome there. So that's where their safe place was. That's where they could be all of who they are, which is what we want our church people to be in our own sanctuaries.
Well, one of the things I love about you, Terri, is that you embody righteous anger.
Absolutely.
I love that. And that it
might not be very righteous, but I try. I do try.
But it is. That phrase, righteous anger, righteousness, of course, is about relationship. It's and justice and, things you ought to be mad about,
right? Without
trying to destroy people, but you're trying to make things right.
Yes.
And so it takes. I go over in my mind, the culture these days is so mad. Everybody's mad at one another.
Yeah.
But I keep trying to wrestle, okay, what part of that is, good anger? Because it takes that to activate some people.
True.
And what part of it is destructive anger?
Yeah.
How do you guide your people in that kind of, how do we go for justice while not actually trying to kill people that,
Well, I remember the year after Pulse happened on June the 12th, 2017, we met at the Pulse nightclub in the middle of the night we did a vigil for the families. And then at noon, we did a vigil for like the first responders and people and the politicians. And then in the evening, they did one for just the community. But the one for the politicians and the first responders and things was in the afternoon. And it had gone kind of long because there were some politicians speaking and like preachers, some of us are long-winded, me included, but we ran out of time. And I was supposed to do a colleague of mine did the opening prayer and I was supposed to do the closing prayer, and it had gone a little long. And so one of the organizers said, I'm sorry, but would you just do your prayer outside the gate? Because they had the gates up and we were behind the fence, if you will. Came outside and there was a million people. There was a ton of people standing around. They can't hear me really, but I start praying. I had it on my phone, so I'm reading my prayer, and because there's a million people, so they can't. Not everybody could hear me, but there was one sole protester walking with his little sign, and I don't know what it said, but it was something. It was probably one that like God hates fags or something like that we've seen a million times, something like that, or that we were going to hell or something. It was derogatory, but it was a sole protester. The only one I've seen the whole time in the 10 years, the one guy that I saw. I couldn't tell you what he looked like. It was a man. That's all I know. That's all I know. But he was holding a sign. He was walking the sidewalk in front, and we were all kind of crowded around. And in the middle of it, I'm praying, and I'm just pouring my heart out to God. And they start hollering. Our crowd starts hollering at him. Oh. And I said, no, 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 no. We're not responding with hate. We have said from day one, we're going to respond with love because that's how Jesus would do it, right? Yeah. And so whatever, I don't even know what they were saying, but it was like, go away or something, whatever. And I was like, no, 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 we're not doing that. And so we just started shouting, love wins, love wins, love wins. And love just went right on down the street and we ain't seen him since. You know what I mean? God bless him because love won that day. And we're like, no, 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 we want to respond. We want to talk about, and we're going to say things that need to be said. Yeah. We are going to lament the things that should not be, but we are also going to say, though the fig tree doesn't blossom and there is no fruit on the vine, yet will we praise him. Yet will we insist that love wins in us and through us. Yeah. And so we're going to speak love. Yeah. And I'm going to treat you as nicely as I can, but I'm also going to hold you accountable to living the life I understand Jesus calls both of us, not just you and me, but the world to live, right? Yeah. And that's how we do it. It's I'm not going to condemn you, but I'm going to ask that we all let justice roll down. Good. We have to. Good. That's what Jesus called us to do.
What, in your perspective, what has gotten better in the last 10 years and what still really hasn't? And it still needs to be worked on, or things that we all need to pay attention to that somehow still is not being addressed.
I think the thing that has been most harmful is that hate got elected in 2016 and reelected in 2024. And the president currently needs an enemy, it feels, from my perspective, and it's a very limited perspective, but there's always an other, and there's always people outside of the accepted pale, whoever that is. And sometimes it's me, sometimes it's religious people, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's this guy over here. But I think that it's become so polarized and there has to be an enemy that then we all like, are you my enemy? I thought we were best friends, but all right, wait a minute. Do you have my back? Do you really have my, and so then it makes us question things. And then we don't respond with the love wins. We're yelling at each other or we're responding in a way, or if you say yes, I'm going to say no. If you say black, I'm going to say white. If you say, you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of, we just can't agree. Yeah. And I think that's what just the nature of politics, it seems, that currently the current president kind of leads the way on, is just ensuring that there's always an other to hate. Always. Now we're communists. It's always a buzzword that will get people excited about something and then against things, so that then none of us are productive. It's not productive to yell at each other. It's productive to go to the polls and vote. It's to go give somebody. We were just talking on a call now, put water outside now, because there are people, it's hot as outside. People need water. Yeah. So let's do that. Instead of yelling at someone, let me just go get a case of water, put it out in places that I know maybe people are going to be walking by that might need it. You know what I mean? Do those kinds of things instead of stirring up the pot and just keeping people questioning and against each other, that we can work together.
And what you're saying, Reverend Terri, is exactly the problem. There's the differentiation between, let's put somebody in a category that is, they probably wouldn't even put themselves totally in that category, but somehow we've got to have them in a category so that we feel threatened by that category. Yep. But when you talk about putting water out for people, you're talking about people. You're thinking about people. And that's the huge difference. Yes. When we first got together, we didn't try to solve the gay straight thing. We didn't try to solve it. We just said, let's be friends. Yeah. And I heard your story, and I loved your story, and I love you, and now everything you're in, I'm in, and we're working together in a community, but it's because we like each other's people. Yeah. It's not because we have to agree on all the issues. It's not because we have to put each other in categories anymore. It's because we want to be helpful and we want to expand the circle of belonging.
Yep.
And so what I've talked to you about your leadership for your people, but you're also a community leader now. What would you say to the rest of the community that aren't directly in your spiritual leadership? They may not be believers. They may not be, anything that you would normally have access to, or they would not normally have access to you. But when we're trying to love our neighbor, when we're trying to build a community together that everybody wants to live in, everybody wants to feel like they belong, what would you say is important, especially in light of we got an election coming up?
Mm-hmm. I would say what I learned after Pulse, it's hard to hate up close. And when you became my friend, you're not just the old white evangelical pastor of a really large church that's more conservative than I am, blah, blah. It's no, that's Dr. Hunter and that's my friend.
Yeah.
And he's invited me I asked and you did it. And I said, we sat on your stage a year afterwards and had a really risky conversation. I said, it takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts to do this. And you were willing to lose it all to follow Jesus. Yeah. And because you followed Jesus, Dr. Hunter, I'll follow you anywhere you go. I will, because, and no, we don't agree on everything. Yeah. Absolutely not. Yeah. And I'm kind of glad we don't, because it proves that love overcomes that mess. Yeah. You know what I mean? That it allows us to say, no. Because I had people to say, oh, no, they condemned us years ago, blah, blah, blah. If they can have some grace, we got to have the same grace.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We got to offer it, and we've got to model the behavior we seek, right? Yeah. And say, you can come here, and we don't have to. It's not about agreeing. Yeah. It's about love. Yeah. And it's about doing good things.
That's for sure.
For everybody.
That's for sure.
And there's some good.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of looking sometimes, but there's some good in everybody. You know what I mean?
Well, I do, and Reverend Terri, you bring up the point. The pledge is not about getting people to agree. The pledge is making it safe to disagree and still love each other.
Amen. That's the pledge. Yeah. That's what you guys are doing with the pledge.
That's what we're doing with the pledge.
That's exactly what it is.
And it is risky. She got me fired. But no.
Sorry. No. I apologize for the rest of my life. I'm so sorry. That's why nobody else wants to be my friend. Oh, God.
No, there's always risk. There's always risk. But, I forget who said it. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Yeah. Yeah. That's the cool thing. That's the thing I love about your leadership is that it calls for people to be uncomfortable because they're doing what's right.
Yes.
And it's never going to be comfortable.
Never.
Not doing more right than you're doing right now. It's never going to be comfortable. Just trying to maintain your group.
Yep.
And promote your group. Anyhow, I'm crazy about you, and we're in this together.
Amen.
And we're going to be in this together for a long time.
Amen.
As we go forward to look at that.
Thank you. Oh, God, I don't go anywhere without
I
them.
love it.
Oh,
I love it. You're a crier.
Do you know how many hankies I have of Dr. Hunter's in my drawer that he has given me?
So great.
True story.
She bought me a package of hankies. I don't know if it was my birthday or Christmas.
No, I just gave to you because I had stolen several from you. I owed you. It wasn't even a gift. It was I owed you back.
Wherever we go, I make her cry.
No, I just cry, and you just happen to be there. That's not you. I won't blame you on that one.
So I love that, and I love it that we're talking about things that aren't going to be just intellectually satisfying. Correct. And they're not just cognitive, logical. They're personal.
Yeah.
This is personal stuff.
It is,
and it's stuff that matters.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that makes life worth living.
Amen.
And so thanks for being my friend.
Of course.
And thanks for your partnership in making Central Florida just a way better place and one that we all want to live in. I love you.
I love you. I appreciate you.